What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Her Lounge podcast. This podcast, as usual, is brought to you by HERR Apparel. Don't forget, guys, to go shop online, www.herappareltx.com. Yes, I did the WW for you. And also, so I've decided that we're going to go ahead and have a $10 t-shirt sale. I haven't sent that over to Don, but by the time you guys get this, it'll be for next week's newsletter. So we're going to go ahead and do a $10 t-shirt. What do you call it? A sale. We've got a lot of odd sizes. So if you're probably a medium or a large, I probably am not going to have it. But if you're small, extra large, 3X and 2X, those are the sizes for you. So go on there and order $10 t-shirts. Great gifts. And before we get started, you guys know I like to start with a positive quote. And this is just going to be a little friendly reminder to you. You're always allowed to rest, recover, and reflect. You don't need to constantly be working in order to become successful and ultimately happy.
I like that.
I do, because I find myself always working because I think that's how I'm going to find the happiness, right?
Yeah.
Because that's kind of where... And I say that because you kind of work in hopes that finally it'll start going, back to normal, and then you can start feeling like less stressed, and then you're happy, right?
Is it happiness, or is it just like overall fulfillment, you think? Like it puts you in your happy place,
I think,
right?
Happy place for sure. Bro, I need a refill on these eyelashes. I've been wearing mascara, and I don't really know, I don't wear mascara because I wear the fake eyelashes.
Sense, yeah.
So they keep getting stuck together.
I'm like, what? Is that my sister's eye dry? Why is she blinking so hard? You look like French Stewart.
I was like, okay. I just haven't had time. So let's refresh this weekend. So had a market this weekend at Flea at Silver Street. My first time doing that market. It went well. The foot traffic was there. I think we had a little bit of lookers. I'm still wet behind the ears when it comes to these more popular markets, because I've always started with, I guess, more of like the church ones, the smaller ones, you know what I'm saying? And these are, I think, a little bit more popular where people follow these people and they know when they're having these markets. I think they have 2 a year, which this was the spring one, and then they have one in the fall. So they only do 2 times a year. But it was great. A lot of people came through, and few people that nobody that listens to the podcast came out, because no one said, hey, I heard this ad on the podcast and I said I'd give you a discount. But people that said, I follow you, just because they said I follow you. I'm
That's
like,
cool.
Oh, well, then here's your 10% discount.
Nice.
You just coincidentally
Came at the right time.
come at the right time. And not to mention, the fact that they follow me, that means, they'll maybe now really start following me and go on my website and start ordering stuff, since I reminded them about, kind of, hey, she does have merch. Duh.
Yeah.
So that was great. Crazy story.
Ooh. Gossip, chisme?
Kind of, yes. So my friend, who's also a part of the Hive, was next to a CBD THC vendor. And I guess they must have been having a conversation about, I guess THC, CBD, etc. Said, I guess, maybe, would you like a sample? Gave him a little gummy to her and her parents, who are in their 80s. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first of all, if you've done a market before, if you don't bring food, it's hard for you to get away from your booth to go get food, unless you're working with someone. Like sometimes my sister, when she comes to help me, she's the one that walks around and goes and gets the food for us. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll pack snacks, but for some reason, unless, I don't know, I think it's mental, Rob. I'd have to make a sandwich, because where am I going to bring a microwave?
Yeah.
Or a salad, something that can stay cold with the cold pack in there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where,
Without it
chicken
get gross.
salads come in good,
chicken
or egg salad,
anything like that. We haven't gone grocery shopping, so I didn't have really anything to bring except for fruit, because we always have fruit at the house. Fruit and nuts and, little stuff like that I usually pack in my purse. So I did that. Okay. Long story short, to say this, they hadn't had any food, and they decided to take the gummy. Not bite the gummy, take the whole gummy.
Yikes.
Mind you, neither one of my friend or her mom have ever done drugs. And not that this is a drug, but you know what I mean.
It's it's altering.
Yeah,
substance.
and what I mean by that, it's like it still has CBD in it. It's like very little amounts. You know what I'm saying? It's not.
It's gonna have an effect.
Okay. The mom has, what is that called? A whiteout? Is that what they call it?
I know the term.
I think, is that what it's called? Where they kind of like their blood sugar drops?
Yes.
And they turn white.
Mm-hmm.
And she just froze and just kind of started dozing off. So they got scared. They called the ambulance. My friend had also taken the gummy. So now she walks over to our booth. So coincidentally, we didn't know about this. Andrea was the one that told me about this market. So she said, hey, you should apply. I said, cool, I will. But my friend Tassie, who was next to me, also was there. And I didn't know. We just happened to be neighbors. Like they put us next to each other without us even knowing. Okay. Really what it was is almost like they put two home decors in between apparel, women's apparel. So next to the right of me was another Home Goods. To the left of me was my friend.
Oh, that's cool.
And she's in the Hive too. So we didn't know. So next I'm standing kind of in front of my booth, just kind of like, greeting people, like, come on in, type of thing. And I see her coming and she's walking. She looks yellow, like pale, like when you're scared. And I was like,
your friend?
Yeah. And I was like, oh, wonder what happened to her. What's going on? Almost like, have you ever seen when someone's sugar level drops?
Oh, yeah.
That look?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I was like, is everything okay? She goes, so I just had to call the ambulance on my mom. I said, what? So she tells us what happened. And I said, she needs a banana. Somebody find her a banana. She goes, no, the ambulance already took her. And she said that her heart started beating really fast, And I said, had y'all had any food? She goes, no. I said, oh my God. So it went straight to liver, like it was 100% absorbed. Like no food was helping it, get there slowly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And lady ended up going to the hospital. So luckily, one of our other friends who came to visit on Saturday, she's also inside the Hive. She was just there, like, came to say hi, and she was shopping. We called her to see if she could come help because I was holding down luckily because we work together, we know each other's items.
Very, very convenient. Very good.
Convenient, right? So, except I use Square and she uses Shopify to sell her stuff there. So Shopify, since you can buy a remote thing, it's a scanner and the swipe thing. Well, Square now has it to where you do everything off your phone. So you can scan and tap. Yeah. So it was funny because I had to leave her my phone. She had to leave me her device. So we were taking turns leaving to check up on Andrea to sell her stuff.
Yeah.
Because she was high, bro. High. She was like this. So imagine I come up to your booth to buy one of your purses, and then you're like, what's up? Like, you know what I'm saying? You're just high.
Not good.
You're high. And I said, Andrea, why would you take it right now? She goes, I don't know. I was like, yeah, like, well, funny thing. I texted her right now this morning, and I said, hey, how are you feeling, and how is your mom? And check out, the first thing she said was, what the fuck were we thinking? Was exactly what you said,
Bro, that's crazy.
So she said that her mom slept really well last night. And I said, of course she did. You know what I'm saying? That's the gummy. That's how you take a gummy, is to go to relax and go to bed, not to sit there and be a salesperson while you're at a market with so much activity and different sounds and, everything else is heightened,
Bruh.
So I was like, oh my God. So I felt so bad for this little old lady. They're the sweet, her mom and her dad are this, talking about a supportive parents.
Yeah.
Bro, they are supportive. They're at every market with her. They help her at every market. And then they're so sweet. They knew that we were there. So they walked over there. The parents did and asked me, Tassie and I, like, hey, do y'all need a break? Do you need to go walk around? We'll sell your stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just they've done so many markets with Andrea that, they just kind of know it. So yeah, so that happened. And I just told her, I said, I gave her one of the mushroom candies.
Yeah.
And I had told her, I said, do not ever take this. I said, just cuss during the day. I said, I like to take it at night. I said, and you do not eat the whole thing. The crazy thing is that the person next to her, I know who they are. Okay. Mm-hmm. And I met them at my last market.
Let's keep them under wraps.
I'm not going to say exactly. That's why I'm not saying it. Here's the thing. That guy is so educated about how this works, how that works. His wife was working that booth because he was at another market too.
They're busy.
Yes. So they took turns. And so she was there. And then she's a nurse. So I'm not sure where the miscommunication was or maybe I really don't know. I don't want to make nothing up or anything. Yeah. I just don't know what happened there. Where I almost feel like the guy would have said, I wouldn't recommend you taking it while we're here. But then I remembered he did say hey, if you want to take it, you want to taste this. And then I think I remember saying oh, can I take it right now? He's like, yeah, it's very low dosage. It is very low dosage. But she says that they gave them the highest dosage, which I don't know what that means.
Like milligram wise?
Yes. So I was like, I didn't even know we had anything like that here that could be high enough, which would be, guess what? The Delta 9?
8, 9? I don't remember.
Or something like that.
I don't know. I don't really fucks with that, but I've heard people say it's great.
Yeah. I've had it, the gummy.
Mm-hmm. So?
Everything. Any type of gummy. I don't care if it's sativa and whatever you want to call it, I go to sleep. So you can't tell me that this will make you concentrate. I'm just going to go to sleep.
Bro, for real. People that are like, oh, it's going to get you focused.
No,
and I'm like, no, it's not.
So many people. And my husband works well, super well. He can have a whole productive day. I know a lot of people who have a productive day. I knew somebody who I worked with during lunch hour would go smoke it up, would come back, and I swear to you was the most helpful person. This lady knew everything. IT, it was amazing to see. I went to high school with somebody like that who graduated top 10 of our class.
There was a super pothead?
My God. I was a scaredy cat to try drugs in high school, so I didn't. You couldn't get me to do that. I swear. DARE scared me. You have no other.
Damn.
It
you fell
scared
for the propaganda.
Oh my God. DARE did its job with me. I'll tell you that. So I was afraid to try any type of drug. So you couldn't pay me to do drugs in high school at all. And
got the Lulu pink. I haven't seen that one before.
This one's I don't know where I left my yellow one, and that's making me go crazy because this one doesn't have
straw.
It doesn't have a straw, and it's also smaller, I think, or it might be the same ounces, but I feel like this is smaller, maybe because my other one's taller.
Yeah, it is.
But it might just be the same amount. Yeah, I had it, and then I hate that you have to open it to drink it. When you're driving, you just can't do this. It's better not move because I like the straw. Anyway, everybody's like, "What are y'all talking about?" My water bottle. I don't know where my yellow one is, and it's making me go crazy. Oh, let me just tell y'all, guys, how much water I drink to where I drink two of I think there's 64 ounces is the big one that I have. So I drink two of those a day. By the time I'm going to bed, I'm already almost done with the second refill of the day. So water is like life to me. It's always in my purse. I can't be without like water. That's the one thing. Like, so because I hadn't found my water bottle, I was just kind of like going the day without a water bottle. Okay, seriously, I don't know how people do that. How do y'all go? Like, do you have to stop at a gas station to buy a water bottle throughout the day? Like, how do you go your whole day?
Most people aren't in their car all day, though. There's somewhere where they can just drink water from somewhere.
Or like, even if you're at work, so you just go to the water station?
Yeah. What else would you do?
I don't know. Like, I have to have like a lot of water. Like, I'm telling you, at one point, I think I told you this, when I was working like corporate America, I don't know. I've always liked water. I told you, my mom, I'd get in trouble when I was younger for wanting water at the dinner table.
Yeah.
My mom says you don't eat with water. She thinks that's weird.
My mom thinks that's
is that a Hispanic thing?
Totally
okay, my mom thinks that. Yeah. She'd be like, no se come con agua. And I was like, what? What am I supposed to?
Sírvete un jugo o algo.
Oh, sí, yep.
Yeah.
And
Una soda.
Yeah, exactly. I used to be like, yeah, no, I just don't.
Yeah.
No desire for the soda at all. But anyway, I do juices with my girls. They know they're not allowed to have soda.
Yeah, we don't give the twin soda either.
Yeah, I don't give them soda.
They've never had anything fizzy, bubbly, like carbonated. So when they did for the first time, they're like, I'm like, you like that? And they're like, I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah.
They don't like it.
I think Penny I let her, she thought it was water and she had mineral water, like the waters that we have here.
That
and
tastes
she was
different,
like,
yeah.
This is just, and she spits it on the floor, bro. I was so pissed. I was like, why would you do that? She goes, I didn't want to swallow it.
The sink's right there.
And I was like, oh my gosh. She's like, this is disgusting. Why are you drinking this? She also doesn't like when I put like pieces of like cucumber or lemon in my water. She hates it. She'll always say, is this only water or did you put something else in there when she wants to drink some of my water?
Girl, you'll drink what I give you.
Yeah, right. No, she's like, I'm like, no, it's got something. I don't want. But I always travel with 2 water bottles, which one is for Sunnies. And I'm talking about reusable water bottles, not like actually plastic ones. Which I just heard that these are so bad for you too, Rob.
Oh my God.
I know.
How?
Because it even though you're washing it, it like keeps so much bacteria in it, which I believe, because this is why I think they make the tops black on the, I don't know about this one, right? But even this one, I have to take off the little, which then it never seals the same when you take off that rubber thing to try to clean it, because it kept getting black, the mold in there. And so now it's a stain of mold. It's not really mold, but it's the stain from where I don't know where it comes from. So anyway, I'll be honest with you. I don't know about you, but I wash my bottle like like today probably won't get washed. I'll refill it all day. And then tomorrow, before I fill it up again, I'll wash it, right? And then I'll fill up my water bottle, right?
I probably clean the bottle itself less because I only have water in it. So I just rinse the bottle itself out.
Okay,
but I will wash the lid every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I wash mine. I'm just going to be straight honest, every other day. So today, right? Today will get washed tonight because I used it yesterday. Does that make sense?
Do you consciously think about that? Because I don't.
Yes, I do.
I do not.
Well, I didn't before until I saw the video about how it keeps all the bacteria. But it was still a habit, though. I cleaned it like every morning.
Yeah.
Before I filled it up again, it would be like, okay, let me go ahead and wash my top. Also, because I feel it's weird because you're drinking at night. I don't know if I keep this on my nightstand.
No.
Oh, you don't keep a bottle? Oh,
no.
See, I keep a water bottle on my nightstand.
I never wake up in the middle of the night.
You don't?
No.
Not even to go pee?
The only time I do is when I've drank too much water and I have to get up, and that's the worst.
Oh, that's funny. I do. I get up. I don't know. I think it's just a mom thing maybe where I'm like checking on the kids. I don't know. But if I had to get up to pee, let's just say I get up, I'll take a sip of my water bottle, which is kind of gross because your mouth has been closed the whole time. And that's like your breath. So that's when I'll go downstairs in the morning and I wash it, and you know what I'm saying? But I keep this because at night while we're watching TV, I'm sipping on water. You know what I'm saying? So like I drink a lot of water. I told you for a hot second, I thought it was like diabetes, because it was like, for me, it was always like water. It was my choice of drink. All that, guys, to say this, whoever's listening is probably thinking right now, like, girl, get to your point about water. Bro, I was like stopping at so many gas stations to buy water.
Why?
Because I couldn't find my my big yellow water bottle.
You know how many cups? You can only just take a cup from the house, like a Yeti cup.
Yeah, but it's so little. It's like you constant. That's why I had another one. It's like the one that said Mrs. Bling on there.
Yeah.
Okay, and I was like, okay, done. Now what? It's like a gulp. I have another smaller water bottle. It's like one of the beginner ones because I wasn't willing to pay the $45 that these water bottles cost. So I think I found one at TJ Maxx that was like $20-something, but the smaller ones.
Dude,
you know?
Shout out to the HEB. Is it Cody, the brand? Kodi? They're on super sale right now at HEB's.
Really?
Like we got some, yeah, like we need any more fucking cups. I don't know what it is about cups, dude, but I'm addicted to buying fucking cups.
My
Pardon my
sister
language, ladies.
had, when she moved, a moving box full of water bottles that she's bought at TJ Maxx for $12. She goes, this one was $12.99. You know that whole, this one was $15.99.
Yeah.
And I love the color. This one does blah, blah, blah. So she had so many. Actually, she was the one that gave me one because she had two of the same color and she didn't know she already owned that color. And she gets home and she has it. So she gave it to me, and that's the backup one that I was using, and it's like a coral color. Anyway, those you have to fill up so much.
You've tricked yourself to needing that much water because but you've done it since you were young. Most people, you should drink a lot of water. We know this, but it's like anything else. I
think I just know that I need two of those yellow ones. And that's how I gauge it to have the water that we need a day. Does that make sense? What is it? A gallon a day is what it's recommended, right?
That's what we've heard forever, right?
Yeah. But I think it's, if you do your body weight times, I forgot what else. It's almost like the same thing, like with protein. That's almost the same. There's a whole formula too for how much water it is. Long story short, because we do, like, you pee it out also a lot. You know what I'm saying? So also, guys, I want y'all to know that I have a coffee and a coffee and water. A coffee, that's me all day long. So you have to remember, I also drink the water because I'm very conscious of, I know I also have had coffee. And it was funny because Just Tier posted a picture where she fills up her mason jar of coffee to drink throughout her day. And I said, I should do that instead of buying. I think I'd be more conscious about my coffee drinking instead, because I usually have the little yellow one. So if I bought just a little bit bigger one, I think I'd go I do a good job of drinking it throughout the day. Does that make sense? But then I'll finish it, especially if I'm busy and it's making me go. And I ran out, like when we were coming here, I said, hey, I'd like to stop and get some coffee. He goes, well, Rob's going to be waiting, so just hurry up. Like, we shouldn't stop. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this podcast without coffee.
Why?
And I'm here with no coffee.
Marisol's looking at me like it's my fault she doesn't have coffee.
And I was like, no coffee, fine. He's like, I'll go get it while you're podcasting. I was like, just forget it. Just take me to go podcast.
Look on her face.
Yes. I was like, fine. Because he was like, it's already late. Because we finished the interview late. So he was like, we got to go. He's waiting over there. And he's talking about, like, he's driving in. It's not like before where...
The running joke here is literally like The Fighter and the Kid, where Brian Callen is always late. For years, right?
Oh, yeah.
And Brendan's always busting his balls about it. We do that here. It's true. Like, something always comes up where it's like something came up that caused time to get pushed back almost every week.
Time.
Every Monday, too. It's like you start your week off with a plan, because I know you sit down on Sundays and you do your schedule. Monday morning comes up, and just somebody says, let's throw a dart or a wrench in the day.
I feel like it's purpose, too. Like, somebody purposely...
Do you think that whoever's doing this... Because we went a super... So if you guys aren't a patron... Plug the Patreon, because we did 90 minutes last Friday, and an hour of that was Jesus talk.
I did not know that.
An hour of that was Jesus talk.
It was Jesus, because Jesus is great. He is the way maker, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. I just want y'all to know that.
I know you just came from somewhere where you had to, pretend that you were that much of a believer, so...
No, I don't pretend, Rob. I am a believer, boo-boo, and I am proof of it. I am the miracle my parents prayed for. So thank you very much.
When you walk through life saying, I am the miracle, you're going to say certain things that people are going to be like, I don't know. She thinks she's a miracle. So
I am a miracle. My parents, they prayed over my parents. I am here because of God.
Human is a
we
miracle.
Are all here because of God.
Every human is a miracle.
So we are all here, except I was desired a lot more than probably a lot of y'all walking around.
Is a miracle.
So just want y'all to know that my parents really wanted me. And then I know someone yesterday, speaking of this whole thing, because we got into the abortion talk. And,
At the market?
Yeah. Oh. And I just, you just kind of like, I don't know if you ever like squeeze your butt when like a conversation comes like, what's going to happen here? Like, I hate talking. Why are we like that now, Rob?
We've been trained that way.
Like, anytime politics comes up or a subject that you believe very strong in, and then somebody is like on the total other opposite side, and you're like, oh gosh, we're gonna go there. I just really didn't want to go there. Like, let's just and then I noticed that I start doing the what is that called? Like the people pleaser thing, because I don't want to get into it. And I've realized that I know why I do that. I look at y'all, I'm telling you on my own. If you want me to be your therapist, let me know, because I will fix you right now. I've also discovered that I know why I do that, Rob.
Okay, tell us what you do.
So I'll start to be the people pleaser person. Like, oh yeah, I can see where you see that. I can see why you feel, because it's me trying to suppress me getting mad. Because what ends up happening usually when you don't agree with someone, it gets really awkward, right? And then someone gets mad over the other. I've done a way better job, and I kind of thank my husband for becoming the Trump supporter and him taking all the hits
all the
for
arrows.
You know what I'm saying? So for us, because I think I have way thicker skin now that I did a couple of years ago.
Sure. It
really mattered to me before. Like, I don't like to be disliked. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'll just be honest with you. I really don't care anymore. Like, I don't care. But when it comes to conversations like this, I'd really try to now, and this is just maturity. Now I just really sit there and listen to what they're saying and how. And I'm sure they're doing the same to me. Mm-hmm. Like, they're probably analyzing me. Like, how did she come up with that conclusion? And I'm doing the same to them. Like, why would you think that? But anyway, really cool story. She is an adopted child. Her parents couldn't have children. I hear a lot of stories like that. I've met a lot of people like that who adopted their first kid, and for some reason, I don't know if it's the chemicals, like the just the energy between you and your adoptive child or what. And then this person gets pregnant on their own for their second child. I know a lot of stories like that, like at least a handful of stories of women who adopt and then out of nowhere they get pregnant.
Wow. Those are miracles.
Like I was. Thank you. So she was adopted, and she said, these were the key words. Okay, I'm going to tell you. She goes, not to get political or anything. And I was like, literally, I was sitting on this little stool that she let me use, and I just went.
You had a cup in your hand, you just drop it.
I was just like, oh my God, what is she going to say? What if we've been friends and we've never talked about this? So
what clip of mine did she see?
I was like, okay, maybe. I was like, she goes, not to get political. And I just thought, okay, we've never talked about where we stand about anything. Our conversations literally have always been about business, kids, kid activities, school stuff. And so when she said that, I was like, oh my God, it's going to get really weird because I have a whole other day with her. This was Saturday. We were having this convo. I'm so sorry. Excuse me. And then she's like, I'm against abortions. She goes, because I was adopted. And she was like, my mom could have easily have aborted me, but instead, her parents had her at a young, I guess she was a teen mom, the mom who, I didn't want to ask all these questions too, because then it also kind of gets, I felt like I was going to get teary-eyed hearing the story. So, I'm at a market, I really kind of don't want to cry.
Can't mess the makeup up.
Yeah, exactly. I also got pimples from wearing makeup 2 days in a row. So I have these like little rash here now. I was just telling Pete about that. I'm like, and I know it's not called base for everybody who's going to make fun of me and ask what year I live in. It's called foundation now, but in the 80s they called it base. Okay. So foundation, I was wearing foundation for 2 days in a row because I only wear that like if I'm going to go out to like a wedding where I need the makeup to stay on all day. This is kind of something where I need the makeup to stay all day. So I wore it 2 days in a row. So anyway, I broke out. So anyway, long story short, I'm sitting there and she's telling me this and I'm just like, my God, please don't say anything that I don't know what I'm going to say to, you know, and I'm already thinking like, okay, if she says anything about how she supports Biden, I'm just going to be like, yeah, I respect that, but I don't, you know what I'm saying? I was already thinking about all my answers that possibly could have been whatever. I didn't know what she was going to say, right?
I respect that. It's very nice of you to say. I mean, that's super nice. That's more than trying to be like cordial and like balanced. That's way over the top nice.
That's why I say I do think I know that I realize that I know why I do that because I don't want to sit there and go back and forth with you. It'll be a never ending conversation because what ends up happening in conversations like that is I'm trying to convince you and you're trying to convince me. Does that make sense? Or we're trying to persuade or whatever word you want to use. We're kind of both trying to see each other's point of view. So let's just come to a happy medium. And just say, cool. I see where you could, and I always say, I see where you can think that, but that's not how I feel. And we're done.
Yeah.
So I agreed with you, but I'm still not going to agree with you. You see what I'm saying? And we're done about it.
I get it. But for you to say like, oh, I respect that. I'm like,
So I was like, what did she say? Anyway, she was talking about abortion and she just said like how she can't get with it because, you know, she thanks her mom for not so I thank my mom for not killing me is what she said. And she's like, and she gave my parents who were her adoptive parents, the opportunity to experience parenthood. And, you know, they wanted kids so bad. My mom couldn't have kids and, you know, blah, blah, blah. I had asked my mom that too one time. I said, I don't know if Hispanic parents are a little bit more like weirded about adoption, but I had said, so let's just hypothetically say I told my mom that you would have never like gone to this retreat. No one's would have ever prayed over you, whatever. And you would have not been able to conceive, right? Because this shoot already been tried for 5 years and nothing was happening. I said, do you think you guys would have adopted? She goes, yeah, I don't know that your dad would have been like open to that. Just like, and honestly, I don't know that I would have been open to that because I don't know that you can have that same connection, right? But if you asked my friend, I was about to say her name, if you asked my friend about her connection to her mom, she told me this crazy story, which I'm not going to lie, I had a knot in my throat when she was telling me because it was so, the bond between a mom and their child is so insane because she said she never knew she was adopted until she was about 6 years old because she overheard her dad telling a neighbor. And she said she sat in her room, like now feeling like nothing in her room belonged to her. Imagine being 6 and hearing that. And so she said she used to like keep her cool stickers. She said there was a tile in her room that would lift. And she said she used to keep all her like what she would consider like hide my cool stuff from my parents. She was like, well, with cool stickers. It's like my little diary. You know what I'm saying? That's where I would keep it. And she said that she didn't like, she was like, I was going to grab what I normally do whenever like I'd go to my room and my parents would like, you know, go to your room. It's time, and, you know, I'd just sit there and play with my stickers. This is also an 80s thing, by the way, Rob, because in the 80s, that was like a cool thing to have was a sticker book.
Okay.
Yeah. My aunt still owns hers, the one that lives in, and it's really cool. Like
you just put stickers in a book? You
just put stickers in a book. Yeah. And it's like how you collected your stickers versus like now we put them on laptops or whatever, bottles. Yeah. It was like a sticker book. And she has like Garbage Pail Kids. Like she has all these cool stickers that were cool, but which at the market, there was somebody selling vintage stickers and pins, which I thought that was cool. I said, I cannot go over there because I'm going to buy a bunch of them and I'm not going to know what to do with them. I already know myself, but there were so many stickers that I wanted. And I was like, walk away right now. But anyway, she told me the story about that. And then she said she felt a sense of not belonging anymore. Like, oh my God, this clothes is not mine. And she said what she did was she had like separated the clothes and sat in the closet and was just kind of sitting there. And her friend had come over to play. And so she rang the doorbell and they let her just come up to her room. She's like, oh, she's in her room. Go up there. And she was the one that found her in her closet crying. And so she goes downstairs and tells her parents, like, you know, she won't stop crying. I'm not sure what's wrong, you know? And she told her dad, like, something, and basically, like, so I'm adopted. And that she said that her dad was like, oh my God, she heard me. And then she told her mom. And this is the power of a mother, okay? Because she got her as a newborn. So 5 days old, she was already with her parents. So it wasn't like she was 2, 1. She was days old, and she was given to her parents. And she said that her dad is a smoker and that he wouldn't stop smoking because her mom had gone to the grocery store and he knew that the mom was going to come home. And he was like, oh my God, I'm in such big trouble. You know what I'm saying? Like, so he said he came up to the room and he was just like smoking. And then one day she decided to ask her mom, so I'm adopted. And then she just said, who said? And then she said, basically, like, I heard my dad. She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. And she said that they've never talked about it since that day. And she's like, my mom, she said, in her heart, I'm hers. So there is no adopting. And she said way later, she said it was her dad who told her the story that it was a teenage girl who got pregnant. They're like, we can't provide a life for her. You know what I'm saying? They were looking to adopt because they couldn't have children. And that's how they got her. And she said that, you know, but her mom still, she goes, my mom and I can have conversations about anybody else being adopted. Like, oh, did you know so-and-so adopted a little girl or da-da-da-da-da? And she was like, but my mom, till this day, we don't have, in her eyes, I am not adopted. I'm like her child. She goes, and we will not discuss it. She goes, and she talks about adoption like everybody else has done it, and she hasn't. But I found that amazing that the desire of wanting to be a mom so bad, or I don't know what you want to call it, or the you know, that motherly feeling to where it's like the connection is so strong with her. It's like, you're not my adopted child. I had you. So she's like, that's why I can't get with abortion. I said, well, you know what's weird? I told her the other day I was sitting there thinking about this, and I kind of talked about this today on Cafecito Time. We brought it up. And there was all kind of mixed emotions on there with people like, yeah, because Chingo said that he's not for abortion, right? And so he was like, yeah, easy. Of course, there's females saying easy for you to say because you're not the one carrying it, right? Of course, that's everybody's argument all the time for men, right? That's a whole other subject. Anyway, who is this girl right now that killed her baby and dumped the baby off in a trash can at a hospital?
It's not Super Reason, is it?
Yes, it is.
Is it? Then it's a new story I don't know about.
Adelie, Avery, something like that. Somebody even said, have you heard that story? Okay. I was in the middle of the night scrolling, but sometimes I'll scroll through social media while Pete's in the shower. And I'm just kind of literally doing this. I'm not really, you're skimming, not really reading. And I saw that and I said, I don't know why. I was like, why is everybody so mad? Abortions happen every day. What's the difference between killing that baby and this girl killing her baby? Why is everybody so outraged? Everybody was mad. I'm not talking about the right being mad. It was the left being mad about how she should be, in jail and blah, blah, blah. Now, other people defended her and said it was mental health, right? Which I can see that, right? Okay. What did happen? What would cause you to kill your baby, birth it, and then kill it, right?
Yeah.
You carried it. You had the option to abort it a long time ago before you birthed it. Is
being a bad person considered mental health though? Like some people are just bad people.
Okay, so that's the other argument about it that I would see, right? So I always read the comments. Those are always fun. And I was like, I don't really even know why that thought came to my mind of like, wait, like abortions happen, I forgot how many seconds. What's the difference between that and the girl who just killed her baby?
Yeah. I can see where you're coming from.
Right?
Let me pull my soul. I can see why you're looking at it that way.
So I just said, everybody's so irate. Like, how dare she? Which part hurt you? That she dumped it in the trash, and here they dump it in the trash for you? And you didn't do the dirty work? Somebody else did your dirty work? I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm trying to understand here. And again, I know everybody will argue with me about this, but to me, there's always kind of like that middle ground of whenever someone gets raped. And I know that the percentage is super small, but at that point, I feel like it's something that, and I say that because I have daughters, you know what I'm saying? I feel like for 9 months, you carry the trauma of what happened to you. You know what I'm saying? And it's not a happy pregnancy. It's a misery, I think. However, I've gone down this rabbit hole other times, and this is especially early on when I kind of felt in the middle, and before I had Monica Klein on here, and when she really got me when she said,
she did, right?
Yeah, you can't be Christian and be in the middle. And I was just like, oh, wow. Okay. I said, you're absolutely right. And that's why I feel like I'm not for abortion, because she is right. I cannot be Christian and be okay with the idea of it's okay to have an abortion. Yes, I know that's you and God. However, I do feel that if you repent and you ask God for forgiveness, I do feel that he will, if you genuinely in your heart, you're not going to turn around and then go do it again. Like a lot of women, I like during this time when this was going on, and people were like, I've had 15 abortions, you know, and I was like, are you making that up, or is that real? Like, there's no limit to getting abortions. Like, you don't just, it's not like, hey, this is your 15th one. You should probably not have them anymore.
No, their job is to encourage it. It's not to discourage it.
I was like, oh my God. Like, I was like, I hope that sign is fake. Yeah. First of all, like, I hope you're just doing it for the sake of trying to prove a point. The girl that walked around with a pregnant belly and basically said, if I want to kill this baby, I can. I was like, okay, all that craziness. But I still do feel that in the cases of a rape, I think that's a really, and I forgot, I think Matt Walsh had a podcast that I heard. I think the percent of when that happens is super small, right?
It's
like
the same with incest, right? Like they always cite incest and rape as reasons for, abortion, right? Not being like, some people say that should be an exemption. A lot of super, hardcore conservatives will be like, no.
Yes.
But again, like these topics will never be, they're never ending. People are just going to continue to argue this until the end of time. And the problem is too, is that there's so much fake outrage in the United States. So much fake fucking outrage, because things are so good here,
Rob,
that people just have to fucking argue about something.
Say that dang on sentence again.
Do I feel like you just said that somewhere else and you were thinking it?
What are y'all mad about?
Yes. I was on a walk this morning before I left. I woke up at 6 to go on my morning walk, which I've made a ritual with myself. And
Isn't it so good?
Oh, so great.
We haven't, my baby does not wake up early anymore. I don't know what's happening as she's getting into 2, but if I let that girl sleep till 9, now I now wake up at 7 for no reason.
Yeah.
And she's still next to me.
But dude, I was walking and I was listening to a book, and then I just kind of paused the book because I had a thought about that sentiment of like, man, I was just walking around, looking around, like neighborhood's nice, everything. That it was windy, it felt good, and I was just like, man, there's so much fake outrage. And I've been thinking about this since I was in my 20s. Like, it hasn't changed from 21 to 31. The amount of fake outrage has only increased.
But do you think there's increase? There you go. I said, I think I feel like it has changed, and what I mean by that is like I feel like there's more, and I feel that there's more only because there's social media.
For sure. Because
the news never did that, guys. Like I legit got. And I'm 10 years older than you, so I remember a little bit more. And I just remember sitting in front of the news, and when news was delivered, you were either scared or you were scared because like, hey, like the killer is on the loose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Make sure you lock your doors. It wasn't like, hey, make sure that trans flag flies at the same height.
Or in the middle of the two American
flag.
What? Like, what are we doing?
I was so offended, Rob. I'm not kidding you. I was
the White House
offended.
picture?
I legit wanted to shoot the picture. I was
with your Nerf gun.
I was literally offended. So offended.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. But see, it's stuff like that
Why
makes me
isn't
feel like
anybody else offended?
people like us probably are, but to think like, okay, did they do this on purpose so that we could have more of this outrage and have people fight over yet another thing? Like, so many things are starting to fall apart that it feels like, you ever watch a TV show or a movie where like the jig is up and like the set starts to fall and like the cameras pull back and you see that everything's just make believe. I mean, now you got Fox sent Tucker a cease and desist letter for his Tucker on Twitter show, right? Because I guess he's not supposed to be doing shows. So I don't know. I didn't read the
But he's on Twitter.
I know, but maybe because it's not a TV show, right? He's trying to get around his contract, whatever. I don't know. I want to read it to see what's up, but I mean, all morning I've just been thinking fake outrage. Like, and we're about to wrap up the public episode, but there was a famous. Did you hear about the famous gamer who got his stuff removed from the Call of Duty game?
Oh yeah, I just saw that. What was that about? I didn't understand that.
Perfect, great. Nick Merckx is his name. He is the only professional gamer
Took
that
something out of there to celebrate Pride or something.
So check this out. On Saturday, I think it was on Saturday when he tweeted out. So remember all the families in California that like they were protesting and then they got into this big brawl, right? So it was a bunch of Armenian and
Muslims, right?
I think so. I think they're even like joined forces. They made a big deal about how they were like chanting and like they were working together against all this nonsense or whatever. Anyway, so it turns into a big brawl with people at this school protest. There was another gamer who tweeted out, this happened 4 blocks away from my fill in the blank gaming apartment, right? How sad the state that America's in. And then Nick Merckx replied to that tweet with the picture of the families fighting in the streets in front of the school and said, they really just need to leave the kids alone. That's all he tweeted. Activision, which is a creator of Call of Duty and a bunch of other famous games, removed his personality from the game, like his skin and his like they call it like his operator bundle or whatever. So he's got over 10 million fans across platforms. Like he's one of the most famous gamers. So he's
just a gamer, right?
He's a professional esports gamer.
Okay.
And among influencer or other things, but he just became a dad. He had his first kid about a month ago. He's a dad now. He has a son, and people are saying that now he's become a dad and like he's trying to turn more of like a far right conservative. Immediately try to like pin him on the right, and he's just
said leave the kids alone.
Tweet was literally they just need to leave the kids alone, right? So how do you argue that? So then other famous gamers, Dr. Disrespect, I think Dr. Lupo, Tim the Tatman, they deleted the Call of Duty game from their computers on their streams. So now all of their fans, they're basically boycotting Call of Duty and Activision, which is one of the biggest game makers in the world, all because one of the most prominent streamers said, leave the kids alone. So now you awoken the gamers, all right? You've awoken the biggest industry of entertainment right now, today.
And I just don't get it.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
I don't get it. If you're on that bandwagon, I don't get you. That's all I got to say.
And I can't be respectful.
I don't get you. And we probably would not be friends because I would probably never understand your reasoning for not being able to coexist with people who just don't have your point of view. And if you, again, I've said this last time, I don't know, Rob made a reel of it. If you still don't see what is happening in the world, you have got to be living in a bubble, and you must not be really concerned. And I get it. Especially if you don't have children, you probably really are. And maybe you're the only exception to that, because I too, when I didn't have children, didn't care. I mean, it didn't make me none, because I didn't have anything to worry about except for myself, And if it wasn't affecting me, I wasn't involved in it, But what I will say, Rob, I don't know to what extent I want to I do want my kids to understand politics early on. You know what I'm saying? I do want them to understand how economics works.
Yeah, how the way things works. Yeah.
Yes, how everything works. And I've said this time and time again, and Marissa has said it a gazillion times as well. If everybody would stop thinking that, you know what I'm saying, the government is our friend, right? Mm-hmm. And we actually start making them work for us, because we do pay their salary. We do pay for everything that they get to do that we don't get to do. Like Marissa says, they get free insurance. Meanwhile, you're paying up the wazoo if you're self-employed. for insurance. You know what I'm saying? For a household of 4, your insurance could be up to $1,500 a month on health insurance.
Yeah.
And it's health insurance, or do you risk something happening and then it's $20,000 and then what do you do, right?
Yeah.
Or something worse happens. I don't know, whatever it is. So do you see how backwards we are? And no one thinks that that's it. Everybody's concerned with giving rights to trans people.
Send another $100 billion to Ukraine. Meanwhile, in Philadelphia, half of their fucking interstate, there was a segment that fell apart. Did you see that yesterday? Mm-mm. Like literally, like pretend, look at I-10 and pretend that the section over City Center by City Center just collapsed.
Stop.
Yeah.
And what now? Were there any cars going through?
There was. So we did a stream last night with the captains, and I pulled it up and we kind of read some of it, but we didn't see how many people were on it when it collapsed or if we're under it. I don't know. So the tweets, basically, that's why I brought it up. The tweets were, oh, but hey, let's send another $100 billion to Ukraine. Fuck our infrastructure, right?
With that, guys.
Yeah.
Go join the Patreon so that you can hear this next part of our conversation, because it gets better than me just talking about someone taking a gummy. Come on over, guys. Join us on Patreon /HERR Lounge podcast. Be a part of her world. Be one of my soldiers. Let's help make the world a better place by being better humans, learning to coexist with each other. No, you don't have to call someone by their pronouns if you don't believe in it. No, there is no such thing as a they. You don't exist. I'm sorry. You're either he or she. And if you want to be transgender, I will respect you and call you by the name that you're going by now. But I still believe that at the end of the day, you are the gender that you were born with. But I will call you Sam if you're Sally, and I'll call you George if you were really Gina. I don't know, whatever. But, facts are facts. And that's all there is to it. See y'all Friday.